How na dey, my people? I hope you enjoyed my video last week. Thanks for tuning in yet again. It is a new week, a new topic. My name is Bamidele Ademola Olateju. Our topic today is polygamy, good or bad? Well, before I start, you can find my videos on my YouTube channel, Bamidele Upfront. Please visit my channel and subscribe. Starting from tomorrow, I will be posting readings of Yoruba books for those who understand Yoruba. I will be starting with Ireke Onibudo because of his extensive focus on character and values. Don't miss it. Yeah, our topic today is polygamy. Is it good or bad? I wouldn't like to give my opinion yet. I would like to examine it first in the context of the Nigerian experience. Polygamy is an ancient practice where a man has more than one wife, and in Nigeria today, it is more common and accepted among Nigerian Muslims, but it did not originate in Islam. Our forefathers practiced polygamy. There are many references to it in the Bible too. So, first, contrary to the popular belief that there are more women than men, I think that is just a feel-good thing for men to say. There are more men than women in the world. According to WHO, the World Health Organization, they said the natural sex ratio at birth is about 105 boys to 100 girls. And it is best to have equal numbers of women and men in a society. Nature gives this additional 5 to boys for balance because men die early. We know that men die early. And boys do not have high survival rates like girls. So globally, the ratio is even higher. It is 107 males to 100 females. Because in China and India, they abort female fetuses because of their preference for males. So, well, according to what the data shows, they go and learn in China and India. Very soon, they go hear them for there because men will start struggling for women to marry. Let's put that aside. You and I have negative views of polygamy because of our experience in seeing women as primary victims of polygamous marriages due to jealousy and conflict among co-wives. Well, those views are not misplaced. I would like to say polygamous societies have problems dealing with young men also. So in polygamous societies, young men are also victims. You may say, what's she talking about? Well, polygamy causes problems for young men who by nature are not financially strong unless they are from rich families. So young men are routinely denied equal opportunity or equal access to the pool of available women in that society by wealthier men because young men do not have the resources to compete with rich men, rich and older men. If una think say I dey lie, you shall know say sugar daddy and aristo dey suffer una no be so. Sugar daddy and aristo no dey let una get the girls una wan get, abi. Anyway, so young men suffer from effects of polygamy too. But what are the social effects of polygamy to the society? Well, deep down, now down, Polygamy is about biology. It's about sex. It's about power. That's the truth. Men who have many wives win in two different ways. One, they have more children from many women who also maintain the home. Two, no, polyandry, polyandry is illegal everywhere in the world, except I think in Tibet and somewhere. I can't remember now, probably Nepal, but let's leave that. Anyway, for women, polygamy is another setup that screws women royally. How? We already know that nature gives us more men than women. So what it means is that there are never enough women to go around. You can think because you see a lot of women in Nigeria that women are there. Women no day, okay? Anyway, when this happens, more girls are married off earlier and younger. So when this scarcity happens, brothers and fathers, realizing how valuable their girls of female relations are, they tend to control them more. They tend to control women more. And girls are treated as an economic resource for more money in terms of bride price. And girls are controlled over their reproductive rights. So they don't have choices. They can't decide, I want to have sex, I don't want to have sex. I want to have 3 children, I don't want to have 5. So is it possible we find in polygamy what is good for everyone? Well, maybe as we go, you see 1 or 2 advantages that really works. But it worked for our forefathers because people say, better, my great-grandfather did this. By that time, our forefathers lived in clusters where there are no huge disparities in wealth and status. But as our society evolves socially to embrace industrialization, capitalism, democratic norms, monogamy seems to work better under those settings. We are no longer agrarian society. We are no longer in the hunter-gatherer stage. So polygamy is kind of contentious. So from my observation and from data, marriage civilized men. Men become civilized when they marry. They are less likely to commit crimes such as murder, robbery, and rape. However, men in monogamous and polygamous marriages behave differently when it comes to being responsible or when it comes to responsible fatherhood. Polygamous men, they show decreased male parental investment in their children. They don't invest much in their children. And we don't need to look too far to know why they don't do that. We don't need to look far. The answer is right there in front of our noses. The reason is that polygamous men remain perennially in the marriage market. So they are constantly looking for who next to marry. So they would rather invest their time, their energy, their money in acquiring more wives than invest in their children's nutrition, in their children's health, and in their children's education. Around us in Nigeria, the patterns are there for you to see. Children in polygamous families are at an increased and diminished risk of malnutrition, for example. They have poor health outcomes and they experience high mortality rates where there are polygamous households. I saw the data, 2017 data from UNICEF Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey called MIX on Nigeria for the Millennium Development Goals and Sustainable Development Goals. What this data shows us is that states with large polygamous households have higher mortality rates for children under the age of 15. Although there's no conclusive evidence that polygamy causes poverty, but there's a very strong relationship the two share a very strong relationship. In Nigeria, places or regions where there's high prevalence of poverty also have the highest rate of polygamous households. So you tend to see that correlation. For example, the data from the National Bureau of Statistics in 2017 showed that 44% and 47% of women aged between 15 to 49, I think, in the Northeast and the Northwest are in polygamous unions. And 20 and 25% of men are. So you will now see that in the Northwest and the Northeast, they are the poorest regions in Nigeria. If 44% of 15-year-old to 49%, 47% of 49-year-olds are in a polygamous relationship. So with the exception of Saudi Arabia and Qatar, the countries with the highest rates of polygamy have the lowest level of income. In Kenya too, for example, 27% of monogamous homes are poor compared to polygamous homes that are 43%. So you tend to see that poverty and polygamy goes hand in hand. So the connection between poverty and polygamy is not difficult to understand at all. Why? When a man marries many wives and does not have the money to cater for them, his family standard of living drops. It deteriorates. In societies where polygamy is common, like Nigeria, women are usually not financially independent. See, they are not making economic contributions to their society. So their financial well-being is tied to the financial health of their husbands, which is not good for the economy. If near half of the population is not they are non-contributors, the society is denied of their input automatically, and the society suffers from it. So it is that simple. Part of the reason why we are poor is because of high rates of polygamy. Another poverty-inducing factor is that girls are married off early. When girls are married off early, they have a longer time to procreate, so they have higher fertility rates. They are young, they are fertile, and that means more mouths to feed, less resources to feed them. This is in addition to the wide age gap between husband and wife. Husband tends to be a lot older than their wives in a polygamous setting. So this correlates with high rates of widowhood and late life destitution. The husband dies, the women are still young, they spend a long time being widows, no money. So overall, poverty and polygamy interact with each other with negative outcomes. Now, apart from poverty, what other social consequences is involved in polygamy? The one that really gets me as a woman is that it violates gender equality. 2, children in polygamous marriages often hold the short end of the stick, as many do not get attention from their father. So when their father dies, his inheritance is contentious, except if it is under Sharia law, where it's already determined how inheritance should be divided. So many of us know families that have been brought to ruin over fights on inheritance. Coincidentally, property rights and inheritance laws in countries or societies where polygamy is common is very sketchy. Very, very sketchy. So they don't really protect the rights to own property. So in contemporary times, Polygamous unions have become vehicles too for transmitting sexual diseases like HIV, like syphilis, chlamydia, and so on. Why? The reason is that young wives of older men whose virility has gone down south can sneak into sexual relationships outside. And even the men, unlike the times of our forefathers, the men too can have premarital sex, even though they are going to marry that person later. They often have premarital sex before the wife is brought in. So sex happens between men and their new lovers who eventually become wives. And who knows, they may not be the only one until they eventually win and marry the woman. So that helps. That's a high risk factor there for the transmission of STDs. So the presence of multiple sexual partners is not difficult to understand in a polygamous setting. Now, I've stated all this. People will say, oh yeah, I know she should be against polygamy. So let me tell you the advantages of polygamy. 1, for men with unusual high libido, those way them think they drive them, it is an escape. It helps them exercise their urge, and it spares the society of sexual crimes and sexual violence. Because if you no fit direct in this thing, wahala go dey na abi. 2, it gives men and women the freedom to marry whoever they want, regardless of their current marital status. So you can decide to marry this woman, marry that man, despite the fact that he's married already. 3, for men, it gives them the option of many sexual companionship. So when you look at the advantages, it's in favor of men. 4, well, this one is for women. It helps widows to find love again. They can marry someone who is married and not be lonely. 5, where there's crowd, there's always support. So families with wives and many children, they often give members more opportunities to have someone they can talk to. So loneliness is never an issue in polygamous homes. It's always a lot of crowd, a lot of people. So you find 1 or 2 people you can relate with. 6, women don't work as hard as if they're the only wife. So homemaking is easier. The chores are divided, and this wife cooks today, I will cook tomorrow, and so on. Then, when you have more children as a man, it increases the likelihood of one of them being successful. So you have the chance that more children will take care of you in old age. And in a way, it tends to prevent adultery, because the temptation of cheating on a wife is not really there because there's an opportunity of adding another. But that is kind of contentious. So, what are the disadvantages? Well, I said women tend to hold the short end of the stick. How many of us can even manage ourselves? How many of us can manage ourselves, talk less of managing someone? So no polygamous household can be described as harmonious or temperate. So women in it they just don't have choice. They accept it, put up a happy face, feel indifferent, and just move on. But nonetheless, there are some things I can think of. 1, it causes abuse of power fundamentally. In polygamous relationship, there's abuse of power because the man often thinks he can do anything, so he can be unfair to his wives just because they have his consent in marrying or bringing in another woman. 2, polygamy is a very powerful manufacturer of jealousy. Polygamy manufactures jealousy in leaps and bounds. Because you can tell it's just magnified in polygamous home. Many misunderstandings stemming from jealousy makes the home just ungovernable, chaotic. If you can remember, you remember Fuji House of Commotion. That's it's an exaggeration, but that's what most polygamous homes looks like. So it is hard and or near impossible not to have favorites among the wives and the children. And those things causes emotional distress and more jealousy. So it's a vicious circle. Another reason, the third reason I think, is that responsible fathers who live by example is key to social stability in the society. But polygamy limits that. It limits the time a father spends with each child. When you have lots of children, how much time can you divide yourself into many places? The head of household, the father, might not have enough time to spend with each of the children. So bonding with children is difficult, and bonding is vital to keeping a healthy relationship with children when they are growing up. So many people grow up with emotional problems and stunted emotional development because the father wasn't there. And we can see that in Nigeria now, can't we? Four, you see, it polygamy propels the fear of abandonment because the women often feel powerless in polygamy. The man has all the aces. He controls the favors. He controls everything, who he enters his room or who he doesn't. So the fear of divorce and being replaced with a new wife often leave women living in fear, being fearful all the time. They feel they don't have the confidence. And then women feel neglected because it's so hard for the man to fulfill his responsibilities with equity to each wife. I know Islam preaches equity, but can you do equity? Ask yourself, can I be equitable? Can I be equitable? It's so hard in life to be equitable, but we can only try. And another one is that polygamy is difficult. The man himself, sometimes he feels exasperated. So what do I think? Resistance to polygamy is hard in Nigeria. And I'm not preaching it, I'm just examining it. In Nigeria and indeed the whole of Africa, the pressure for a woman to get married is huge. So what this does to women is that it forces them to marry someone that is already married instead of remaining single. So from my point of view as a woman, I told you before that I wouldn't tell you what I think, but you can guess. From my point of view, I think polygamy is bad. Because polygamy, to me, major reason is that it perpetuates the idea that a woman is a commodity, is an object. When a woman is treated as a property or as an object or a commodity, it leads to abuse. That is why I don't buy polygamy. I will be on again next week to discuss another exciting topic. This is kind of controversial, I know, but I just wanted to take it on. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, Bamidele Upfront on YouTube. The name is together, Bamidele Upfront. It's no space. You can also leave me issues you want me to discuss on my YouTube channel. Tomorrow, don't forget, if you are Yoruba speaking, I'll be reading Ireke Onibudo. I'll put it on my Facebook page when I will be doing the reading, so you can join me live. But if you can't join me live, please subscribe. See you soon. Thank you.